Hey guys, welcome back. Eric Smith here. My guy Anthony has been doing defensive secondary or coverage breakdowns in previous weeks. And as we all know, the season hasn't gone nearly as expected for the Dolphins, and the team should be pivoting to, what their goals are for the rest of this season. And in the same way, there's going to be some pivoting in the film breakdowns that you find on this channel. We're not going to try to paint a rosy picture that everything is going to be fine in Miami, but this also isn't the channel where you're going to get, the sky is falling overreaction takes either. Instead, we try to take a little bit of time. We try to consume the film. We acknowledge there is stuff that went wrong, but we also recognize that there are things to be positive about as well. And that doesn't even have to be things, that are positive for this season. It's about finding reasons to find, some sort of entertainment to look forward to each week. So for a lot of fans, that's going to be focusing on the younger guys and trying to form some opinions on what pieces of this roster are worth moving forward with, and we need to look either in free agency or start watching the college film and see what's there. So that's kind of the direction that Anthony is going to start to go with these videos. And with that said, Anthony, they're all yours.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So, this week was a little difficult for me to even get into the tape. I usually am like chomping at the bit for it. Usually I'm right to the defense, and then anything that kind of I have interest in afterward, I'll watch. This week I just really didn't want to watch any of it because it just kind of felt like, for what? Like, for what? What are we doing? But I did, I got into and kind of skimmed through some Tua stuff and anything that kind of, like sparked my interest. I looked at a little deeper, but then just kept it moving. Thought about doing the defense and just said I again don't have like the strength for it, honestly. So here we are, finally got to it. And part of my thinking here is I don't really see any point in continuing to do things the way that I was doing them with, the focus that was on the secondary and, how they are playing and what the scheme is asking them to do and tendencies and, that kind of thing. So, I think we're gonna pivot here. I'm at least gonna do it for a week and see how it goes. I think realistically, like we're at the point where we know that this season is over. Goals are no longer attainable. So I want to start watching the tape from a different lens and pay attention to the guys that I think will be here next year and be contributors, and the youth, the young guys, and kind of watch their development. And then just watching, like I'll see other things in other guys, and just like I'm like for instance, I'm a Jaelen Phillips guy. Like I he takes a lot of crap every year. He's not playing bad football right now, but he's like one of few that wasn't. So, for my money, I would like to see JP stay unless Miami does get a very good offer. You want to trade Chubb, you want to trade Judon, I'm fine with all that. But if it's me, I'd really like to keep Chop and I'd like to keep Phillips. I actually think I think that'd be a nice tandem because JP can do a little bit of everything, and Chop is kind of your just pin your ears back and go, at least now, but will continue to develop and get better. And I think that future can be exciting if given the time and the snaps to actually develop, and they put in the work to do so. So, yeah, so like I said, we're going to check it out this week and kind of see, what we get, and we'll see how it goes, and maybe this is something that I'll continue to do going forward. So, would appreciate the comments, appreciate, all that kind of stuff. If this is something that you guys enjoyed more so than what we were doing and kind of think the same way I do, by all means, let me know. All right, so we'll get into the tape in just a second. All right, guys, we're gonna start here. This is kind of end of the first quarter. What I want to say though, and I'm not sure if anybody kind of realized this because there was so much going on and there was a lot to be distracted by, whether it was Tua and picks and penalties and just total frustration. I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but the Dolphins' run defense was actually pretty damn good. And that's nice to see and a change and exciting because that's kind of what we're going to focus on a little bit more so going forward. And I really hope this is something that continues because there was just blatant progress, and as a unit they were so much better. So I'm going to read you some stats. So Quinshon Judkins finished the game with 25 carries for 83 yards, right? And they made him earn it. They did. He ripped off the 46-yarder, which, okay, Miami's pretty much good for one of those or, two of those a game right now. And to me, it was Dodson who it was, the person that was at fault the most. And it's pissing me off that Willie Gay has not found his way onto the field. I don't care if Willie Gay has to play D tackle at this point. The dude needs to play, or whatever needs to happen to get Dodson off the field. I'm tired of it. So, Quinshon Judkins finished the day, 25 carries, 84 yards. First half, he had 18 carries for 75 yards. If you take out the 46-yard run, he would have had 17 carries for 29 yards. That is pretty damn good. That's like best in the league stuff if you did, kind of did that like week in, week out, right? Which, I mean, let's pump the brakes, but what I'm saying is that they had a damn good day. In the second half, he had like 8 carries or something. I think 9 yards, right? First half is where he did most of his damage. But if you take out the 46-yarder, then Judkins pretty much finishes the day with 24 carries for 38 yards. It's that one mistake that killed him. And it didn't even really kill him. If you this is a run that came after a BS pass interference call on Minka that was super ticky-tack and should not have been called because Ashton Davis had a pick and this run in another dimension somewhere in the multiverse. That run doesn't even happen, right? So 25 carries for 38 yards. And they had 6 tackles for loss. They had 15 plays where they held the runner to 2 yards or less. Like, that's damn good. Now, again, they're playing Cleveland, not the best offense. Young quarterback only in game 3, I think. He's not really going to pressure you down the field. So, you are honed in on the run. And that's why, the big one that they gave up, it sucks. It definitely sucks because it's like if you had just really kind of not given up the big one, you would have been able to hang your hat on the idea that like, hey, we are very capable of doing this because again, I don't care that it's Cleveland. I understand the situation, but this team was stopping nobody at all. So the fact that they did stop somebody, again, and when you watch the tape, it was noticeable how much better the D-line was. I mean, just at the point of attack with locking their defenders out and, and peeking and doing, things of that nature. They were better. There's no doubt about it. So, yeah, it just sucks when you get the total performance overshadows something that we've been waiting for 2 months, basically. Where I would have loved to have said, like, if they had gotten a win, you could have been like, hey, look what they did. That's great, But instead, it's overshadowed and forgotten about because of everything else. So, yeah, we're gonna get into a little bit of what that looked like. Just showing it here. I mean, this is a lot of what went on here. These guys were coming off the ball. They were playing with good leverage. They were getting underneath pads. Look, JP's got him locked out. Kenny G's taking on a double team, and he's not getting driven back. Chop did a good job over here of locking out and kind of now splitting and shedding and coming to get the ball carrier. Look, there is nobody at the second level that's coming to get your linebackers here. That's what it's supposed to look like. Much better, much improved. And that happened a lot. Moving on, we're in the second quarter now. This is 2nd and 7. Again, good run D. Another stop for 1 yard. We'll see it from here. You got JP, Chop, Kenny G, Sealer, and Phillips. So you got that 5-2 with the 2 linebackers here, and your safeties walked up. Look at these guys. Good. Dodson's filling here. JB is taking on, I believe that's the center. Ethan Pochich. They actually went heavy here with an extra lineman, and they still stuffed this. Dodson kind of working through. Look, lockout. And then once he realizes where Judkins is going, he gets rid of him. And that's Joel Petonio. He's not quite the player that he used to be, but Petonio was pretty damn good at one point. So again, more good stuff from the young guys. Again, here we are. This is like only like a play or two later. Again, they are in this extra like heavy formation where they have an extra offensive lineman, right? Guard or tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle, tight end, 1 receiver, 1 running back, and obviously strong sides to the left side, right side of the defense. You got Chubb, you got Phillips, you got Benito, Sealer, and JP. Motion here. Oop. And they try to run some sort of power here. And again, good work. We'll watch it from here where you can see a little bit better. So you get Fannin here. You're going to get a puller here. These guys are trying to create, and basically the linemen are trying to get on the right side of the D lineman and wall off this here, and then hit kick out blocks to create a lane up through here on what looks like a counter, basically, with Judkins stepping left and then coming back this way, right? So we'll go back a little bit. Linebackers so far, good flow. Look at JP though. Inside. Look at that, 1 arm. That's how you do it right there. He is strong as hell. Gets underneath the pads, puts this guy almost on his ass. Fannin comes over to help. and he still finds a way to kind of shake loose, be part of the tackle. Benito's working, and he at least gets in the lane. He gets in the hole where they're trying to, or where Judkins is trying to work. I gotta stop doing that. And even, Zach is not more of a. I mean, Zach is moving his guy and just right there. They're squeezing that hole where there's just ends up being nowhere to go. Here, just across the board again, like this, it was much better, guys. It was much better. Again, if you guys want, I can do another video and really show you, where when it looks bad. I've kind of tried to show some of it here and there, but with our focus being on the back end more so, I probably haven't shown enough of it. But I mean, again, these D linemen were getting walked back, double teamed, and pushed 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 yards back. I mean, teach tape kind of stuff against us. I mean, we look like the junior, the JV team. Not so much, right? Not so much on Sunday. Was much better. Was actually pleasant, and a pleasant surprise to see when I turned the tape on. I was happy about that, because watching the game, I had kind of just lost focus and everything. Where I was like, oh, I think I realized and noticed, like, oh, like, the run D looks better today, but mentally it was just so tuned out because it's they're just tough to watch in general, right? So yeah, this was good to see. Here we are, next play. This is 2nd and 8, and again, still in that same exact formation. Overloaded, strength to the left with the extra tackle, and they are just literally telling you, like, we are going to run the football, or they'll sneak out a play action or whatever, and give Gabriel like half field reads and easy stuff, right? So again, it's not like Miami was playing a juggernaut on offense, but considering that they couldn't stop anything early in the year, and this, I mean, the tape doesn't lie. Like, these guys, they played better. I don't care who it is. I want to see improvement, and this was a game where we definitely got it. So let's take a look at it from here. Get the end zone angle. You get a double team here. Watch JP. Jaelen Phillips blocks out. He's peeking. Sheds. He's not part of the play, obviously, but again, this is like, he's doing that. Like, he's winning his matchup. Like, when he's kind of gets rid of him like that, and the offensive lineman ends up on the floor, that's what you want to see. Double team here. Again, where are these guys going? They're not creating push. They're not, creating any displacement and moving guys or anything. Like, I'll take that, and that's Benito there. And you get Zach with the Olay here with a nice swim. See ya. And he makes the play. Again, it's just across the board. Everybody's kind of doing their job. Even, again, I don't know how much longer he'll be a Dolphin. But Chubb blocking out. I'd like to see, there you go. He got the arm over to the other side where it was supposed to be. Just better. Just much, much better. Again, I can live with this effort. It's, no more can we get embarrassed. So, with Bijan coming up, they're going to have to do this again, and they have to find a way to stop teams from hitting the home run. It's the only way they'll be in this game, because right now Bijan is cooking and is a problem. So, need to be on all their P's and Q's. All right, so here's another one, same drive, 1st and 10 at the 15. Still have the same personnel where we have the extra offensive lineman here, center, guard, tackle, extra tackle, which technically I believe he's listed as a center. It's interesting. guard, tackle, tight end, and then you have Fannin back here in the fullback spot. So, and for Miami, you have Sealer, Kenneth Grant, Phillips, and then you have Chubb with his hand in the dirt. Jordan Brooks actually on the edge. So they basically kind of shifted the linebackers over. And look, I mean, there's just nowhere to go. They did not allow Cleveland to, displace anybody, create holes. Guys won their matchups. Guys didn't get pushed out of the way. It was just much better. I mean, this just ends up being a mess. This is not what a running back wants to see. So again, everybody's pretty much at the line of scrimmage, so nobody's getting, pushed back, driven back, moved out of the way, anything like that. It's just much better. Much better. Here we are, 4 minutes left now in the first half, 1st and 10. Cleveland backed up in their own territory. You got Chop here, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, Zach Sealer, and Jaelen Phillips. Cleveland in more of a regular personnel here. They're in 11 personnel with 3 receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end. They're also in the gun. And another good job here. We'll take a look at it from this angle. Motion, checking to see what we're in. Looks like man coverage. Just kind of looks like it's a zone left. With the left guard here being the one to try to kick out the edge, create a running lane either up through here, or if you could, depending on where it is, just give the running back an alley, give him somewhere. But on this play in particular, Kenneth Grant does a damn good job beating his guy, doesn't really let him get squared up, rides him out, and this guy, I mean, look at this guy's shoulders. They're literally perpendicular to the goalposts. Where obviously he'd like to be a little more square. He ain't winning this matchup. KG's the one taking him for a ride, and he works him right down into, finds the ball carrier, and ends up with a TFL. Good stuff. That's big for him. These are guys that right now are they need plays like that to make make all the work worth it. And there's no doubt we are seeing progress. Here, JP gets and protects the edge. Kenneth Grant with another tackle there, but JP being where he's supposed to be, forcing Judkins to cut it back up inside. So you get the down block here, and then these guys are these 2 are pulling this way, trying to create, again, a kick out. Probably get him here, and then whoop, is what they're looking for. So JP does do a good job, though, and eliminates at least any chance that he could bounce it. And this is actually a good job by Dodson to not allow Fannin to get a hold of him or get a good angle on him, because if he does actually seal him, and if you can imagine Fannin has him sealed here, everybody else is in pretty good position for Judkins to do something with this. So there's definitely that factor. And then Kenneth Grant, by the time Judkins is hitting the line of scrimmage, KG has continued to work and move, right? Push, 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 and then comes clean, kind of runs right into him. So again, sometimes like you don't need to you don't need to like just it's just positioning. It's not losing. You can stalemate. It's not, not everyone needs to be a swim move or a, picture perfect. Just you can't get pushed off the ball. You can't get moved 8 yards, and the one thing, that they will have to kind of work on is, when they're left alone and, teams are going to like trap them where it's like, oh, I'm free, right? It's kind of like the old, like, um, oh wow, look, I'm wide open here. I'm gonna get a sack, and then they drop it off behind you for a screen. It's the same thing in the run game when you get wham blocked, you get trapped. Like there's multiple ways of kind of fooling, especially the young guys. That's stuff that'll come with time. But again, as far as just like, hey, we're gonna run zone left, zone right, counter, power, whatever. Um, they did again. They were much, much, much better here. Just not any, not a whole lot of big losses. So, yeah, again, like I said, pleasantly surprised. Good play here. Definitely had a chance to. This definitely had a chance to be a big one. If Dodson actually does a good job here, taking Fannin on and winning, and then again getting help from KG here as he continued to work down the line. So, good team defense. So this is the next one, literally like the next play. This is now 3:15 left, 3rd and 12. Cleveland on their own 8. And we have talked about how, these guys were not really giving Weaver the ability to like, play the games and, loops and stunts and all the stuff that they want to do and typically have done and done very well, which is, a big reason why Zach, has back-to-back 10, sack seasons as a D tackle. They got it done here, and I want you to see who's the one clearing it out. Kenneth Grant with a hard step outside, comes back in, and JP's crashing as well. Look, one between just JP and Kenneth Grant, you got 4 defenders here. 4 offensive linemen here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 people on Kenneth Grant. The running back felt the need that he was a threat to step up there. And it allowed Dodson to come around. And look what happens when they execute. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we thought was going to happen. So, just nice, nice to see when it works. And again, to repeat myself for the 20th time, progress. It's nice to see the young guys starting to figure it out. It sucks it took a little, this long, a little longer than we thought, a little longer than we wanted to. And the season's kind of, again, shot to shit, for lack of better words. But going forward, we're going to take the positives where we can get them. And look at the sack. Look at KG. Man, he's fired up. Like, for anybody that still thinks he's a bust or, and is like jumping to conclusions this early about a rookie that's played 7 games so far and is super young and 21 years old, like, you're going to end up eating your words. I know it sucks to watch Tyler Warren do what he's doing, and Miami could use a tight end, but Kenneth Grant is going to pay dividends at some point. He's going to be a good player. So just hang tight. Keep watching. So here you go. You got a 3rd and 21. Kind of, in a situation like this with a young quarterback, you kind of know, especially if they're up 24-6, right? They're going to be as safe as possible. Most of the time you get some sort of screen, you get a draw, you get, something, maybe a drag that you hit with some blockers out in front, whatever it may be. But JB doing a good job of calling it out here. Beats his guy, doesn't let him get attached, and eats it up immediately. it's just good stuff. Again, it's good defense. Progress. Hopefully, that's a guy that's back next year and continues to be a captain, because he is one. He is one that you wish you could you wish you had 40 of them, right? So, good stuff. All right, I think I'm going to end it on this one because, to be honest with you, I mean, aside from the penalty, like the game was kind of boring in a way, and there wasn't like it wasn't a ton that happened. It's just Miami kept shooting themselves in the foot and extending drives, and Cleveland just basically tried to take 2-3 yards, punt the ball, and Miami just said, okay, well, here's a fumble, here's a pick, here's a penalty, here's 15 free yards. So it was like, I mean, they really didn't make Cleveland earn their field position and their opportunities, but the defense did do a good job, I felt, of making them earn their yards, if not for the penalties, if that makes sense, and the 146-yard run they gave up. So, yeah, I mean, this is fourth quarter, 4 minutes left. There's some other stuff, and a lot of it looks similar, but like I said, just overall understand that there was progress made. It definitely looks like the rookies are starting to kind of find their groove a little bit. I'm not saying, like, we don't know what the ceilings are, right? That's what's exciting. I mean, I think Jaelen Phillips surprised in the early ongoing of like training camp and stuff when we realized, like, no, this dude can, like, he's strong, man. Like, he can body people. He locks out and gets good. Like, he understands how to play the game, and he's gonna be a good player. And with KG, it was like, okay, I understand it's gonna take a little time, maybe. He's never going to be like a dominant pass rusher or anything like that, but he's going to be able to collapse pockets and basically, maybe just take away escape lanes for quarterbacks to go forward and step up through the pocket and escape that way. And also, if your edge rushers are doing a good job by collapsing the pocket around the edges, and KG and whoever his partner is are collapsing it up front, you kind of give the quarterback nowhere to go at that point, and that's what you're looking for. That's how you get pressure with 4, and that's how you win games on defense, right? So with the struggles early on, I know a lot of people were losing faith, and they were watching Tyler Warren go to do what he's doing in Indy, and it's just another thing that adds to the frustration and what you think is incompetence by Chris Greer. And trust me, I am not going to defend that guy at all. But I'm a Kenneth Grant fan, and like I said, so just keep hanging in there, and keep watching the good stuff that shows up. So again, here we'll end it on this. JP, nice inside move here, and then you get KG working around here, and look, Gabriel's now got nowhere to go. This is good. This is good defense. This is these guys working together, which is something that we haven't seen a whole lot of. It's been a lot of like just this guy's doing this, another guy's doing that. Nobody's got any clue. They're not working as a unit, and that's why you got one guy in position, but the other guy thought, did something different that allowed an escape route, right? Where you're like, all that hard work, and it's like we're not helping each other. Well, this is what it looks like when we're helping each other. I don't know if this is natural. It looks more natural and like organic than like anything that's like designed. But I don't know, JP taking, coming inside, and where Kenneth Grant looks like maybe it was called something, I'm not sure. But again, it's a good job. Like, the defense on the back end here, like maybe there's somewhere to go, but he's coming loose. This is taken away. And now, Gabriel's off balance. His feet aren't underneath him. So, right, thinks he can escape, but KG comes loose. And this is where, what allows JP to get a sack. But again, that's the unit working together and in tandem. So, yeah, really hope that we continue to see it, because again, with Atlanta coming to town, They got a pretty good offensive line. They're running the ball pretty well. They run it the best in the NFL when it comes to outside runs, outside the tackles. So setting the edge and the D tackles and everybody working down the line of scrimmage and flowing with the offensive line and the zone blocking and everybody taking care of their gap is going to be extremely important, because if you think Quinshawn Judkins or Kamani Vidal or Rico Dowdle can hurt you that way, Bijan Robinson is a different breed. So if they don't have it and aren't on their A game, we are going to see something special, and not in a good way. So yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. But this, for me, again, like, I'm trying to find the positive when I didn't even want to watch this tape and saw this kind of stuff, and it was a little bit of like a wow, look at that. I didn't even realize that they had actually played like that well, in my opinion, because again, everything was overshadowed by so much negative. So yeah, again, let me know if this is something you guys want me to continue to do going forward. I had fun doing this as like a switch up. I'm going to put some more thought into it too. I'll talk with Eric, that kind of thing, and just say like, what do we think is best going forward? Maybe, again, maybe this is just what I do going forward, or, I can we'll just start looking at different things, and with an eye towards 2026, and yeah, let's just hope and let's stay patient for one. We really have no choice. Try to find some positive, this season. Again, accept it for what it is. It's done. Let's hope that we continue to see good things and progress from our young guys that let us know that, their draft picks weren't mistakes, for one, and two, 2026 is a chance to have a rebound year. Doesn't necessarily mean like, we're shot, we're done, we're not going to be good for 3-4 years. This team may not have a ton of youth and pieces, but there's enough, and they have them in some key spots. So if things get worked out and good coach, whoever comes in, whatever happens, there's good coaching involved. Let's just put it that way. This team could end up being, the bounce back, just like it did in 2007 to 2008, where they went from worst to first, right? 1-15 to 11-5 division winner with Chad Pennington. You never know, man. Football is a weird game when it comes to stuff like that. So keep tuning in. Let me know what you guys think, and I hope you guys enjoy, a little bit of some new content. All right, take it easy, guys.